Patch 4.5 is going to mix things up more than any other patch that we've had in recent time. With major buffs and nerfs to tanks, DPS, and supports, there are many huge winners in 4.5 that you should consider learning now, picking up, and maining to give yourself the best shot at succeeding in the new emerging meta. So we're going to break it all down, but first, a word from our sponsor, G Fuel. Now, today's video is powered by G Fuel, and not just any G Fuel, the brand new Formula 2.0. This is the new evolution of energy and focus for gamers, creators, and anyone who needs that clutch performance in life. With upgraded ingredients for sharper focus, longer lasting energy, and smoother taste, Formula 2.0 takes everything you love about G Fuel and dials it up to 10. There's also no sugar, so no crash. Just clean energy that keeps you locked the freak in. So if you're ready to upgrade your grind, hit that link in the description down below and grab a tub of G Fuel Formula 2.0 today. You can use my code at checkout for a sweet discount and to help support the channel. But let's get back into the video. Now, the first hero on this list is actually Hela, and it's not for the reasons that you might think. Well, Hela did get a nice buff in the fact that now her flight is going to activate a bit faster, and she's going to get a little bit of bonus HP at the back end, so she's harder to punish. The main reason that Hela is such a huge winner in this patch is actually just because Jean got nerfed quite substantially. Specifically, one of the strengths of Jean was the fact that she could do comparable things to Hela, but she had more utility. She had a more reliable ultimate. She was good in the brawl or close range against a lot of dive tanks with her melee tech. And with her being unable to do that melee tech now, that's a big deal because now Hela feels a lot more appealing. And in the head-to-head, Hela actually had an advantage in the matchup. Hela being far more pick-off oriented and is better at taking long-distance duels. She always was reasonable against Jean specifically, just against the field is where she struggled. But now, with those buffs, she's slightly better against the field, and Jean is a lot worse against the field, so the characters are a lot more comparable, and I do think that Hela wins out right here, especially when we consider really powerful synergy she has. The Venom synergy, Venom's going to be a huge winner. We'll talk about him in a second. But also the synergy that she has with Namor is extremely strong. Anti-heal is going to be a substantial part of this new meta, and being able to give that to Namor and give him a powerful way to help kill through defensive ultimates, it's all kind of coming together for Hela, and I do think that Hela is one of the best characters to learn. But here's the thing about Hela in comparison to Jean that I think everyone should understand. Hela is far more mechanically demanding to get the same amount of value with. Like, yes, you could get higher peaks of value with higher mechanical skill, but remember that Hela primarily is going to get her value through pickoffs and aggressive off angles, being able to kill a support, mid-fight or pre-fight, kill or duel a DPS, and a lot of this is centered around hard to hit critical shots as opposed to just getting value from body shots that is just applying a flame. What this basically means is that Hela is going to be harder mechanically to really access. I think players that are really good mechanically are going to make this character just insane this patch and dominate, but if you're not great mechanically or you're not interested in getting better mechanically, then Hela's probably not the character for you. She's definitely one of the most aim mechanically demanding characters in the game, but if you want to improve your aim, I do have an aim guide. I'll put it in the links down below, but let's move on to the next winner we have in the video. And it's Venom, and this character is crazy strong because the reality of it is that Venom has been really, really good for a while now. Like in pro play and at high level ranked play, Venom has been taking over lobbies, and there's a lot of reasons why. Venom is just extremely hard hitting and forces out a lot of cooldowns, and then he can get out safely, which a lot of characters can't, even in the phase of CC. Unless it's mass amounts of chain CC, a good Venom can get out. And then in compositions where they're playing triple support, Venom is one of the best counters to triple support because the comps don't have enough damage to force the Venom out of their backline. So a Venom can just stay in their backline for way too long, to be honest. He has a one-shot combo with his ultimate if you time it right and with damage boost through defensive ultimates. So there's a lot to love about Venom in this current patch, but the thing that they're doing right now is they're supercharging an already good character and making him even better. So I want to make it clear, Venom was already good, and I think in most elos, you could actually just dominate on Venom if you learned this character's proper cycles, but now he's gonna be not only busted, but perceived to be very, very strong, which he is, and that's because the anti is gonna be something that is gonna just kill so many teams and players. A tank takes a mass amount of damage from the ultimate because it does damage based on max HP, doesn't have the ability to be healed up to full right away because they have a 30% heal reduction, And there's just so many situations where Venom ult is gonna be able to just win a fight by itself. You can combo and kill through defensive ults the same way you could before, and with other damage boosts and things like the new rocket ult, it's gonna be even more powerful. But then, even if you're not doing that, just being able to pressure tanks so heavily, allow you to ult a cloak in like her own bubble, for instance, and still kill her through it. There's so many reasonable applications of this that just make the character just way over the top as far as power is concerned. Like, undoubtedly, Venom is going to be one of the best characters in the game, so much so that he might be too powerful and he's going to get banned a lot. But if you know Venom, then you never really have to ban him. You could just Venom diff the enemy. So I'm going to give you 2 tips on Venom. Number 1, you always want to try to set up so that you're slamming in without using your grapple, so you have your grapple to get out. You have your shields to give you an extension in the fight, and then your grapple to get out. You reset, you climb up a wall or a surface or a rock or whatever, and then you can slam back in without using your grapple. That's Venom 101, and just doing that alone every single time basically makes you unstoppable in most elos, like most of the lower elos, because people just do not punish you well enough. Like, the only way to kill you in that situation is like mass CC. And then the second tip I got for you is that you have to bind both normal swing and easy swing. Like, normal targeted swing lets you grab the ground and different places for rollouts, but easy swing allows you to grab literally when you're not looking at your escape, so you can get out instantly. You hear an Emma Diamond, you press easy swing right away, it just gets you out of there. Then you could re-engage when she doesn't have the form anymore because it's on a massive cooldown. You get spit off the map by Jeff. You can literally easy swing yourself out of there instantly without looking at anywhere. So it's really important to bind them both, and you do those 2 things and you're already like better than most Venoms. But if you want me to make a in-depth Venom guide for this patch, let me know in the comments down below and I'll get to writing it right away. But the next major winner in 4.5 is actually Rocket. And if you didn't hear the news, Rocket is now able to gift players a 40% damage boost increase to anyone within range of his ultimate, including the shields that he already did. So now we are all really enjoying the amplifier because Rocket's about to get crazy. And one of the things about Rocket is Rocket already has a reasonable high win rate across ranks, and there's a lot of reasons for that. He's hard to kill. He basically can erase players' mistakes. Just getting picked off is like something that happens at all ranks, and that's a really powerful effect. And he's also a great healer to enable dive and long distance characters, and basically a wide variety of compositions Rocket can be played in. But one of the biggest weaknesses to Rocket before had to do with the fact that when an opponent ulted, you couldn't mirror it with Rocket. Like, if they Luna ulted and you pressed Rocket ult, the problem happened where they could just push forward, kill the Rocket ult, and then still have Luna ult for like, 4 more seconds, 5 more seconds. Same thing with Cloak and Dagger ult. Same thing with every other defensive ult. Rocket ult was always one that you could never use at the same time, or you could never even really use first, because then you use it first, they respond with Luna, cancel everything you're doing, and then kill it. So that was really the risk there. But now with the new damage, not only is it something that you can use first or use in response to other ults, but sometimes you should, because with that damage boost, cloaks are super killable, invises are super killable, even Lunas are really killable. So that means there's a lot of situations where you're just gonna mirror and burst through, which is so freaking strong and makes Rocket such a premium character in the meta, and actually paves the way in a lot of ways for a new, just, not sustained meta. Not everyone doesn't die meta, but everything is dying meta. With anti-heal and the ability to damage boost mirror ult, and with the intent to try to kill through ults instead of just sustain through them, right? Even when you're popping this, you're not just trying to like last, because you can't last. You have to make a play on their ultimate to make it valuable. So you're gonna try to kill them, and that makes everyone really want to like burst through these ultimates. It's just a completely different meta is what this enables. And if you're not on the Rocket train already, it's time to hop on, because this character is really going to see a massive win rate spike and is gonna be one of the best characters in the game, undoubtedly, especially for ranked play. But remember, with the changing of the meta means an increase in divers, off-anglers, characters like Psylocke chasing you down. So what this means for you as a Rocket is if you want to get the leg up on other Rockets, how creative you're hiding your BRBs to bring people back alive, that's going to be a major contention. And also how much can you stay alive without the help from your team? Using your movement, using your wall running, how you're positioning. The less you need your team to bail you out, and the harder it is for people to destroy your res beacon, is really going to dictate how impactful you are on Rocket compared to many other Rockets. So keep that in mind. Now, I did mention her just now, but Psylocke is a massive winner. With her new ultimate buff, Psylocke is extremely strong. So Psylocke did receive a nerf a little while back with her alternate fire, and this was because she was one of the best DPS in the game, but they basically nerfed her, and I think she was reasonable. She was fine. She was still a very good DPS, but now they buffed her again back into dominance tier, in my opinion, especially considering the fact that her ultimate can now kill through every single support ult. You can kill through Mantis, you can kill through Cloak. No longer are supports going to be able to just pure patty cake and keep themselves alive against you in most situations with your ultimate, and you're almost always going to be able to force out an ult that they can't use alone, or else they'll still die to you. And this really makes it so that Psylocke just has so much more raw power in the places that matter for the character. In a world where ultimates are being traded and people are being killed through defensive ultimates, Psylocke gets to either clean up a fight, force out ultimates to pave the way. She's extremely good at hunting down rockets and hunting down BRBs or res beacons. She's really, really good alongside characters like Venom to dive in. She's really good at contesting characters like Hela. Like, the character is just gonna fit super, super well in the meta, and she's also gonna be super, super dominant in her own right. Now, one thing that I think a lot of people kind of picked up on is that Psylocke is not easy. Like, she's one of the hardest characters to master in this game. And there's a massive difference between doing what you can, doing well, and doing phenomenal. The character is very, very difficult, and you need to put a lot of reps into the character to get good with. But I do think that if you're looking for any time to learn Psylocke, it's pretty clear that they want Psylocke to be consistent meta. They've constantly buffed her and made her meta. So learn her. I think it's worth the investment of your time. I think she's extremely good, and she will continue to be extremely good for the foreseeable future in Rivals. But the next character that is actually a big winner in 4.5 is a character that didn't get buffed at all. It's Hulk. And the reason that Hulk is a big winner is that he's free. He's finally free from Gamma. He's finally free from Namor. And in some ways, you might think, hey, that makes Hulk worse. He doesn't have access to this powerful team up. Namor and Hulk played together, got a lot of value. And that's true. You don't have that anymore. But Hulk just being less banned is going to be good for Hulk players. You're going to be able to play Hulk a lot more. And also, Hulk is going to be really, really good in this emerging meta when there are divers and players taking all these angles. Hulk is extremely good in that environment. Hulk basically gets to do a million different things, but one of the many things he can do is mark enemy characters. So if it's a Daredevil in your backline, or if it's a diving Venom, or it's a Hela, he can basically interact with all these characters pretty reasonably. Whether he's stun peeling, whether he's bubbling his backline, whether he's jumping on the Hela, there's so many different ways that he can interact with all of these characters. And in a chaotic battlefield, Hulk gets to basically poke and prod and dictate where he wants to. And that's one of the reasons why Hulk is actually an amazing anti-diver, even though he does have some amount of dive abilities himself. Another thing that's extremely important to note is that Jean not having the melee tech is huge for Hulk, because any Hulk player can tell you that Jean was very frustrating to fight when she had that movement tech. You basically couldn't beat her in melee range unless you had full resources and full health. She would just brawl you out, which is kind of crazy. And now that's no longer the case. Hulk is going to be able to force away Jeans from locations and Helas from locations and contest those characters and contest backline divers. And be able to do all of that is just really, really great for Hulk. Not to mention he does have some play against flyers. So in a world where Torch and Ultron are still reasonable but not as strong as before, Hulk can further interrupt that and still be good and still make plays. Now, one of the things about Hulk is also a character that is extremely hard to learn, but I do think he's worth learning, especially now that he's free from Namor. There's going to be a world where you can play Hulk in a lot of games, and if you really learn this character, you can always find ways to have impact. He's a really good complement to many other tanks, and I do think that he's going to be a massive winner in this patch, even if it doesn't look like it on paper, because nothing about him specifically was changed. The meta as a whole, the characters that were nerfed that really countered him, and just the way that the meta is shifting is gonna really favor Hulk, so I'm telling you to pick him up. The number 6 on this list is actually Mantis. Mantis is a massive winner because she didn't get nerfed. Because in patch 4.0, Mantis was revealed to be one of the strongest characters in the game. A lot of Mantis mains were picking up on it. A lot of players were learning that Mantis was just crazy. And there's really a lot of reasons for this. One, Mantis is just really good in triple support, and she also was part of the strongest variation of triple support, which, by the way, didn't get touched. Like, Mantis did not get touched. So triple support can still exist and will exist with Mantis being the center point for that comp. And one of the reasons is because Mantis almost by herself replaces all the damage that is lost subbing out a DPS for a support, right? You sub out any DPS for a Mantis, and all of a sudden, everyone around you, from your Ultron to your other DPS to even your tank to your Atom, whatever, all get damage boost. Mantis is providing a crazy amount of damage herself, who she's also damage boosting herself, and her just being able to move around the battlefield, take aggressive off angles, play make, all of that combined makes Mantis just a character that creates a lot of pressure, still gives the team a lot more sustain with her healing and her ultimate, and I will say actually a character that is a bit underpicked into support, because one of the things that people ask is like, can Mantis be used in a double support composition, especially when we talk about like lower elos or average elos? Is that a reasonable thing to do? It really depends on how much damage your tanks are taking. If you're playing something like a Groot thing, no, a Mantis is not going to be able to heal that, but in a lot of these games, you can tell me if I'm wrong, you're getting like solo tank Strange, solo tank Mag. These tanks are not taking a crazy amount of damage. I know it might feel like it, but they're not. There's just not a lot of health totals to fill up comparatively to like a Groot that's literally dropping down to 100 HP every 5 seconds. So what you can do is just create more pressure, and more pressure alleviates the damage that your frontline takes anyways. So in a lot of ways, Mantis is just creating overwhelming pressure for the enemy. And I will say that it's not going to work every single time, but there's a lot of stomps on either side that are created by the power of Mantis at every elo. So if this is a character that you have been interested in, I highly recommend you just playing her more in general. And in 4.5, she's a massive winner regardless of the rank you're in. The number 7 on this list is, to no one's surprise, Bucky. Once again, Bucky didn't get any buffs in 4.5, but I'm still kind of blown away by the anti-movement buff on his uppercut he got in 4.0. And while there are going to be a lot of different moving factors in this patch, and the high rank meta and pro meta is still up in the air, for ranked play, for most ranks, this is going to be the meta. Here, I'm gonna lay it out for you. It's going to be dive versus anti-dive. That's literally going to be the meta for most people, because people are locking Daredevil, people are locking Buff Iron Fist, people are locking Venom, everyone's running it down, right? So there's all these divers, and what do you look for when there's all these damn divers? The guy who says no fucking dive. Okay, oh, sorry, pardon my French, but that's the thing. He's the great equalizer, right? The guy that says no, the guy that denies. And I know everyone hates on Bucky, but when you're being dove by 5 things at the same time, you're going to be thankful. You're going to be grateful for this Bucky, because it's a character that you can learn to deny the nonsense. And there is a lot of nonsense in this patch, like a ton of divers, a ton of mobility, and having hard CC is going to be strong. And it's not just Bucky. There's a lot of characters that are like this right now. While he's not on the list, I think Mr. Fantastic is another great example of a anti-diver character that is going to match the flow of all these mobility characters being really strong with his new CC no mobility buff that he just got. So in a lot of games, it's going to be about whether or not you can stop their dive. There's going to be characters running at your team, and if you can stop them, you win the game, and if you can't, you lose. And if that's the game you're playing, then Bucky is just the best character to pick by far. And Bucky's also one of the characters that I play a lot when I play DPS, and I do have an advanced guide, an Eternity guide, that I would highly recommend you watching if you want to say no nonsense in 4.5. Link will also be in the description down below. Number 8 on this list, a big winner, is maybe surprisingly Strange. I think a lot of people have kind of realized how strong Strange has been, but Strange is going to be really good in this patch for a lot of reasons. but it's mostly because he's a more flexible version of Magneto. While Magneto has a lot of defensive tools, one thing he's not great at is when characters don't play front to back. They play from all angles. They're fighting some from the high ground. They're fighting some from the off angle. What you would really want to do is confront threats directly, but with Magneto enabled to take high grounds or really just fight on his terms, it's a little bit hard. I'm not saying Magneto's bad. He's still great, but it's going to be harder than Strange, who in my opinion gets a lot more playmaking, especially in this emerging meta, than Magneto does, being able to fly and take high ground, clear off characters like a Hela, for instance. Even his AoE Maelstrom of Madness is actually a really good peel tool because a lot of divers are not expecting that level of burst damage out of nowhere all around Strange. It's actually a really great peel tool, just being able to fight divers. Strange is actually good at marking divers and killing divers in some cases. And of course, his ultimate is just also amazing. And it's also an ultimate that you could use in response to a dive, like a Venom, Psylocke, you know, a whole bunch of characters jump in, you just Eye of Agamotto them all and kill them, and then you just move on. Like, it's really, really strong. And I do know that the Strange Magic team up did get nerfed, but that duo is still phenomenal. Magic is a great character to play as a diver and anti-diver. She's disruptive. She brawls a lot. She's hard to kill in a dive. She can contest characters like Hela too. So I do think that Magic is going to be really, really good as well. And the Strange Magic duo is also going to be very, very strong going into this patch. So don't sleep on it just because it did get a little bit nerfed, because it's still phenomenal. Tying two divers together with your chains is gonna just get them killed like a lot. It's really, really strong. Demon's really good against them. And yeah, as a whole, I think Strange is a big winner. And then I'll also like secondarily put Magic in there too. The number 9 on this list is actually Jeff, another character that got nerfed, but is somehow on the winners list. I know that it's easier to headshot kill Jeffs now, right? When they pop out their freaking head, he has less damage reduction on headshots. But I do think that good Jeffs are going to be able to play around this and just not peak Hellas for long periods of time. It's not going to allow Hawkeyes to one-tap you or anything like that. The damage numbers don't quite go that far. So you're not getting one shot out of nowhere. If you position well and you position near cover or bubbles, or you just go underground, you're going to be fine. The main reason that Jeff is on this list is because of the synergy he has with Venom. The Jeff Venom team up is actually one of the strongest team ups in the game. It's almost like a mini soul bond, and Jeff and Venom work extremely well together. We've seen it in Ignite, in pro matches, and in ranked matches. It's honestly just massively underplayed. It's extremely strong, and Jeff is just a great support that can heal up Venoms from anywhere, play really weird angles to enable a Venom, even assist in his dives, heal him, and damage the people that Venom is diving. And one of the weirdest things that I actually think is going to be really strong in ranked is the Animal Crossing backline, so to speak. The Rocket Jeff backline duo support that, you know, in most patches, people are like, wow, this is an instant loss, right? But in a world where Venom has anti, and Jeff can counter some defensive ults by eating people, and Rocket can counter defensive ults by killing through, and you just combine that or stack that with like maybe a Star-Lord with the Jeff bubble spin synergy, and then also the Rocket team up synergy, being able to teleport back, and maybe a Hela, like you throw that in there, or you then get another tank. Whatever you want to do, I actually think it's going to be really strong. Will it be meta in pro top level play? Probably not, but I do think in ranked play, Farm Animal backline is not only one of the best backlines to enable dive characters, they are also some of the best characters that are good at surviving dives. You know, both Rocket and Jeff being characters that have good mobility. You're not just sitting there as like a Luna, like having a good time, and then you're doped by 3 people, right? You have more movement and ways to counterplay and ways to reposition and ways to be aggressive and heal aggressively. So anyways, I do think that Jeff is going to be still a very, very big part of this meta. But a lot of his viability, in my opinion, is dependent on Venom's viability. And of course, if Venom is banned, then it's a little bit more map specific. I think Jeff is better on some maps where you can dump people off. But in general, Jeff is going to be still a big winner. The number 10 on this list, a big winner in 4.5, is Blade. Blade is getting quite a bit of buffs, some of them more quality of life, but in general, just buffs across the board. And really, in 4.0, Blade was reasonable. He was actually reasonable, just underplayed, a complex character that people didn't quite pick up on. But now, with a lot of these buffs, he's going to feel a lot better to play. He's going to have more uptime and just be more lethal as a whole. And most importantly, he has a really powerful anti-heal synergy, and it kind of furthers this entire thing that's happening, where there's ways to kill through defensive ultimates with damage boost, or there's more anti-heal with Hela Namor team up, with Venom ultimate, with Blade ultimate, and Blade Silver Bullet. You stack a composition with all these antis, and hyper healing comps, or comps that are really trying to enable characters and really heal them up to full, are gonna struggle a lot, and there's gonna be a lot of ways to kill through these defensive ults. So if there's one thing that this patch is, it's a patch where things die. Like, things are dying this patch. And here's my biggest tip. I can give you more tips later in another video, but my big tip for the entire patch is that the game is going to be a lot more trade oriented than survival oriented. Like, if you're going to die, get value before you die, right? If you're going to go out, get a trade before you go out. If you're a Luna getting dove, guess what? You're gonna die. But freeze a diver on your way out so that your team trades that diver, and then y'all are up one, or y'all are even. But I'm gonna have a lot of guides on how to navigate this new patch on this channel, so definitely smash that like, subscribe if you enjoyed the content. If you want more guides, we got a lot coming, so make sure you don't miss out on those. But also check out my sponsor G Fuel in the links down below. It helps support the channel, and G Fuel 2.0 is actually really sick. But thank you so much for coming by, and I'll see you next time.